What's up guys, it's Brandon Flash. Today we're installing some EVBase running boards on my Rivian R1T. These are actually the least expensive running boards on the market, and there's a link down below for 15% off discount code as well. Let's install them, see how they look, how they work, and all that fun stuff. So as mentioned, we're installing the EVBase, which are the same as Honcho actually, running boards on my Rivian R1T. It's worth noting that these are not rock sliders. There are some running board rock slider combos on the market for Rivian. These are not intended to be rock sliders. These are just kind of side steps, running boards, whatever you want to call them. EVBase was kind enough to send them to me. I've been eyeing running boards for a little bit now. I kind of want them just as kind of side protection for door dings, things like that. Because I mean, my truck realistically is more of a mall crawler than it is an off-roader. Though I do need to get it off-road more. So definitely, if you have some recommendations around Charlotte, North Carolina, let me know. But we're gonna be installing these. I'm not 100% sure if I'll leave them on long-term or what. We'll see how they look, how they function, if they're actually useful to me. I'm 6'3", so I don't really need running boards to get into the truck easily, but I do have a fair amount of passengers that are shorter, so I think it'd be better. I also just think that they'd hopefully kind of look cool. So let me walk you through some of the components to these setup, and then we'll get to installing them. They seem pretty simple to install, but you do have to remove some panels underneath the truck, which I'm not super keen on, but we'll do what we got to do here. So here we have my Rivian R1T. We have the driver side running board there. We've got the 3 different brackets that go on the underside. It uses all existing mounting points. But you do have to take off some underbody panels here, so we'll get to that in just a minute, but you can see there. I've also got some tools here, basic socket set, some Torx bits, got my 1/4-inch drive, impact driver, some miscellaneous bits. Here we have a whole bag of hardware that goes with it. We've got the instructions from EVBase. They're not great, so we're mostly going to figure it out as we go. But hopefully this video, if you did decide to purchase those, again, link down below with a discount code for 15% off. Hopefully this video will help you install them. They come in a pretty large single box. One of these was the cover, that's why there's 2 here. Definitely if you're on the smaller side, you're gonna want a dolly or something to move it. I just did it for sake of working smarter, not harder. Here we have the passenger side, and we use some of the hardware from that bag on the other side. I just jacked the truck all the way up into the highest suspension setting. That's probably the easiest way to do this. Actually, you could do it on a like drive-on lift, I guess. But doing this on a 4-post or 2-post lift would actually probably not be that doable because you're right in the area where the lift points are. So I think you're kind of just stuck doing this on the ground. I've got a moving blanket here to lay on. You're probably going to want something soft-ish because you're going to be on your back or at least on your knees kind of underneath the truck. But let's get to it and start removing some of these panels. From what I can tell, we're going to need a 10mm and we're going to need a T20 Torx bit. So let's go under there. All right, so we're facing the front of the truck that way. We're going to remove this panel, and this panel. Not 100% sure how they come off, but we've got a 10mm here. We've got a T20 there. This panel, I believe, is just stuck on with some clips. I've got another 10mm there, and in theory, it should come off. I'm not sure if we also need to remove those there. You can reinstall these after. I think I'm going to leave them off at least temporarily as I'm deciding 100%, because you do have to actually cut for those brackets to be able to go back on. And I'm not keen on doing that today, at least. So let's get to it. We got some of the panels off. That's that forwardmost one. These clips are very much a bear, so be mindful of that. You probably want a panel tool if you have one. Some of them do get stuck in the rails, which is really annoying. There's the middle panel and the rearmost panel. So we'll throw those off to the side. Like I said, I'm not going to modify those today, but here we have what we're looking at once we're under here. And I believe we're using these attachment points, and somewhere back there, but I'm gonna look at the instructions, see exactly what bolts we need to take out, and then we'll attach those brackets. All right, well, we've got the brackets installed, what I believe the correct positions. So I have them on kind of loose here so that we can put it on The instructions, again, are, I would say, to call them useless is to be too kind. But here we have where they are. So we're 3 bolts back along this outer edge. And we got 1 bolt between. And then we have 2 bolts between and 2 bolts on the other end down there. So just so you can kind of figure that out there. And then I actually put the passenger side on the driver front because I am convinced that this is the correct one and they are labeled wrong. So there's that. We'll find out when we get to the passenger side if that was the correct move or not. But now I think we're ready to set the actual running board on top here and see how that goes. Well, I've installed one of them on the driver's side here. Tried it out a couple times. Not sure how I'm feeling about them. I really wish they actually contoured to the truck. Not really loving how they are like this. How they're kind of so straight, but the truck is not because it flares out a little bit. It also has this like rattle if you like tap it. So, not great. Might adjust them a little bit, but I have everything snugged up. I put them on loosely with the little brackets, and then once they were all set and seemed pretty even, I snugged them up. It's also not really the right length. Just make sure it doesn't interfere at all. Yeah, no interference, so we're good there. But I wish they went all the way to the end, but they don't really have a set spot that they're supposed to line up with, because yeah, I don't really know how I feel about these. All right, we're starting on the other side. 1 panel off. Those 3 clips did not cooperate, so I'll fix those later. 1 panel, another panel, getting those all off. We're seeing if this passenger side goes smoother than the driver's side. Hopefully it does. Also, there's a view of what those brackets look like from underneath. So we're over on the passenger side, as you can see here from the Rivian logo, and we have the driver left front bracket. And on the other side, I installed the passenger front bracket. So this is definitely correct because those are the 2 spots it lines up at. So they were labeled incorrectly. Definitely be mindful of that. Here's how it's supposed to go, as far as I can tell, like that. So if you're installing this, pay attention that they're actually labeled correctly. Well, here we have it. We have the running boards installed on both sides. Ignore the trash just hanging out the bed there. Got to bring it down to the dumpster at my apartment. But overall, I think they look pretty good. I wish they were a bit more contoured to the truck. Here you can see how they're straight when the body is contoured, which is, I don't know, not my favorite, but we'll see how I like them. The driver's side seemed a little chintzy and kind of rattly. The passenger side seems quite a bit better, but it's nice to be able to just step on there and then get onto the roof to clean the roof glass, or if you have stuff on the roof or whatever, or just shorter people. So overall, I think I like them, but I'll have to live with them and see what I think, of course. Again, here's my truck, 20,000 miles on it. Install on the passenger side, I didn't show the whole process, was a lot better. So some of the issues that I had were that the front pieces were actually swapped as far as their labels. So I don't know if that's a one-off mistake by them or if that's something that is consistently wrong. So definitely keep an eye out for that. The instructions were, again, pretty much useless. Hopefully this video helps you quite a bit. But overall, I'm pretty decently happy with them. I don't know if I'd spend the full $700 on them, but I think with the 15% off, it's pretty decent. It's pretty competitive in the market. There are some others on the market from EV1. There's also another one, I think it's 4x4 or something. Those are like legit rock sliders. Those are almost $2,000 though. So really depends on what you need and what your needs are for running boards, rock sliders. If you're just looking for something to help get into the truck a little easier, these will suit the bill. But if you're looking for something that's kind of engineered for full impact, off-roading, things like that, these are probably not what you're wanting, because these are not going to help like save your truck in the event of a rock collision or anything like that. But let me know what you guys think of them and how they look. I think they look pretty good. So if you see them in person, definitely let me know. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys on the next one. If you haven't already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button.